Hello, my name is Reverend Dr. May Elise Cannon. Today is Monday, August 12th. Today is day 311 since the attacks by Hamas on the south of Israel. Today is the annual fast for Jews around the world, the fast of Tisha B'Av. It's the annual fast of Judaism, which a number of disasters in Jewish history occurred. Primarily the destruction of both Solomon's temple by the Neo-Babylonian Empire and the Second Temple by the Roman Empire in Jerusalem. Some thought that because of the significance of the day, that tonight might be the night that Iran or Hezbollah might attack Israel. But thus far, it's about 5 o'clock or 4:40 p.m. In Washington, D.C., and thus far, an attack has not yet come, but Israel has prepared itself for retaliatory attacks for the recent Hezbollah and Hamas assassinations that happened in Beirut and in Tehran. The United Nations Security Council has reported that the council will hold a briefing on the situation in the Middle East, including the Palestinian question, tomorrow on the 13th of August. It seems that Algeria requested the meeting to discuss the hostilities in Gaza and the Israeli strike on the school that happened this past weekend that was sheltering displaced people in Gaza City. The United Nations Department of Political and Peacebuilding Affairs, DPPA, an official and the OSHA official are expected to provide a briefing at that UN Security Council meeting. Times Magazine reported that U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin has ordered a guided missile submarine to the Middle East. He has said that the USS Abraham Lincoln Aircraft Carrier Strike Group will be sailing more quickly to the area. That was announced yesterday on Sunday. The move comes as the United States and other allies are pushing for Israel and Hamas to achieve a ceasefire agreement that could help calm soaring tensions in the region following the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran and the senior Hezbollah commander in Beirut. Many of my updates today come from a compilation that was made by Just Security, including a summary of a CNN report on the Israeli strike that happened on a school and a mosque in Gaza on Saturday that killed at least 93 displaced Palestinians, according to local officials. Palestinian civil defense said that over the weekend, people had been performing dawn prayers, and Israel confirmed that it did carry out a strike. Israel said that it eliminated at least 19 Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorists. And local officials told that at least 93 displaced Palestinians had been killed in that attack. Hamas yesterday rejected the invitation by the United States, Egypt, and Qatar to attend Thursday's final round of ceasefire negotiations. In a statement, according to Axios, Hamas said there were several reasons, including new conditions from Israel. Israel's assassination of their Hamas leader, Ismail Haniyeh, and also the recent deadly Israeli airstrikes in Gaza. The New York Times reported that the Israeli military yesterday ordered civilians to again evacuate from different parts of humanitarian zones that had been established in Han Yunis in Gaza, saying that it was planning to fight in those areas because Hamas had embedded, quote, terrorist infrastructure, end quote. A gunman opened fire from passing cars at Israelis traveling along the main road in the occupied West Bank yesterday. A civilian was killed and another was wounded, according to the Israeli military and emergency services. That's according to the New York Times. An Israeli security unit found to have committed gross human rights violations will continue receiving U.S. funding. We've been talking about some of the restrictions that were placed on U.S. funding or U.S. weapons that were going to Israel. The Biden administration announced on Friday saying that this unit that has been under scrutiny has effectively remediated the gross human rights violations that they had committed previously. The determination ends a lengthy investigation of the ultra-Orthodox Netza Yehuda Battalion, John Hudson reported for the Washington Post. Vice President Kamala Harris condemned the Israeli airstrike that happened on the school compound in Gaza this weekend, saying that far too many civilians had been killed in the enclave. That was according to BBC News. The United States, as I mentioned earlier, according to BBC News, reported that the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said the United States would take every possible step to defend Israel. In a joint statement, France, Germany, the UK endorsed calls for a ceasefire, the return of hostages, and the unfettered delivery of humanitarian aid, speaking about the lack of the necessary and needed humanitarian assistance being allowed into Gaza. New Israeli intelligence suggests that Iran is preparing to attack Israel within days. Two sources with direct knowledge of the issue told Axios. And Lebanon's Hezbollah fired a barrage of rockets toward northern Israel yesterday after an Israeli airstrike on South Lebanon injured 12 people. That was according to CNN. The United States is restarting offensive weapon sales to Saudi Arabia after a years-long ban, according to senior administration officials. The Washington Post reported that's quite significant because the Saudi coalition was previously active in a war against Yemen, which contributed to a severe famine there. The United States is waging a hidden campaign to contain a resurgence of the self-styled Islamic State group in northeastern Syria, as the group is seemingly rebounding amid conflicts in the Middle East, the Wall Street Journal reported in the past few days. The former President Trump's presidential campaign said this weekend on Saturday that it had been hacked and suggested that Iranian actors were involved. Experts and cybersecurity professionals say the hack echoes the Russian attacks on Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign, and they were warned that further attacks are likely. Iran's mission to the UN denied all wrongdoing. AP News and Politico both reported on the situation. And the Iranian president, Masoud Pezeshkian, yesterday proposed a former nuclear negotiator as the country's new foreign minister. Pezeshkian also sought to appoint a woman as the housing minister. If approved, she would be Iran's first female minister in over a decade. And that was a report by ABC News. So today is Monday. It's the beginning of the week. Please pray that things would de-escalate in the Middle East as we continue in our efforts towards a comprehensive and permanent ceasefire. Might God go before us towards peace. Do not give up hope. May light come quickly. Might peace come quickly on the horizon. Amen.